All right, good morning, traders. Today is June 11th, 2024. Thank you for being here. My SPY pivot this morning remains at 532.81. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend. SPY, QQQ, and FNGU are still in uptrends, while IWM and Diamond Dow are still remain in downtrends. SPY made an inside day, while QQQ and FNGU made lower highs and lower lows. All three closed over their bullish traps over the 17 EMAs. Diamond Dow made a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish cross under the 17 EMAs. So that looks like it's starting to fight that one off. IWM made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Gold and silver still in downtrends, made inside days, closing underneath their bearish traps underneath the 17 EMAs. USO still in a downtrend, made a higher high and a higher low. So that looks like that's trying to fight off the downtrend, closing over a bullish cross over the 17 EMA. UNG still in an uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. US dollar index has changed trend. Okay, US dollar index now in an uptrend and closed near 105.10 area. So not good for the market if you're a bull. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. All right, let's take this down for a second. Let's get SPY up here. All right, so let's take a look at SPY. Let's move this out of the way, move this out of the way. Okay, so here's SPY. Made a lower low, made a lower high and a higher low, so it's inside day right there. Closing over the bullish trap, over the bullish trap right here. Here's price. The yellow line is the 3 EMA. The trap, the other side of the trap is the 8 EMA. So SPY closing over the bullish trap. That'd be the space between the two of them over the rising 17 EMA. Good morning, Julie. All right, let's take a look at 2-hour trend. All right, so find the 2-hour trend right here. Okay, 2-hour trend, we left off with a bullish uptrend on the 2-hour time frame. So on the daily time frame, uptrend. 2-hour time frame, uptrend. 10-minute chart, we left off with a 10-minute uptrend on SPY. What do we have now? We have a 10-minute uptrend. It's only 8 o'clock. Okay, still got an hour and a half. All right, but we have a 10-minute uptrend starting from, I got to say, from a lower position here. But you notice it came down to that. Oh, it didn't come all the way down here. All right, pivots right here, 532. Right here, 532.80, 81 or something like that. Have it up here somewhere. I'll bring it back up. All right, so there's SPY. So, marching orders. Okay, over the pivot, which is probably going to be right about there. Okay, over the pivot, green erases red, entries. Okay, over the pivot. Under the pivot, red erases green, entries under the pivot. Okay, so red erases green, entries. Those would be bearish. That'd be puts. That'd be bear call credit spreads. All right, and be sell it short. Okay, over the pivot, we're looking at long calls. Okay, bull put credit spreads. All right, long positions over the pivot. This is only speaking about SPY. It's got nothing to do with the other indices or the other securities, okay? Just looking at SPY. All right, so over the pivot, green erases red, long positions. Under, short positions. Okay, there's SPY. Let's look at QQQ. And we'll go back to the daily chart. So QQQ and FNGU both made lower highs and lower lows, closing over bullish trap over the 17 EMAs. Okay, so QQQ, SPY, and FNGU still in uptrends. Okay, QQQ, see that? Closing over the yellow 3 EMA. Okay, yellow 3 EMA on the price are over the white 8 EMA, and all three of them over a rising 17 EMA. Okay, so still bullish there. Okay, so that's uptrend. SPY's in an uptrend. FNGU's in an uptrend. Just want to delete that. Okay, so FNGU, same thing going on here. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing over the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Still in an uptrend. All right, so let's take a look at Diamond Dow and IWM. Here's IWM. Okay, so IWM in a downtrend. Okay, we got a lower high and we got lower lows. All right, yesterday's candle we got was a gap down and a move up. We got a lower high and a lower low as compared to Friday's candle. Okay, closing underneath bearish trap. That's price, the 3 underneath the 8. Okay, all underneath the 17 EMA. That's the dots. Okay, right there. So price 3. So underneath the bearish trap, underneath the 17 EMA. Okay, so there's IWM in a downtrend. Diamond Dow. Lower high, lower low, still in a downtrend. Okay. Why? Because we got to take out this high right here. Right there. Okay, came close but didn't get it. All right, so still in a downtrend, lower high, lower low, closing underneath, bearish cross underneath the 17 EMA. So Diamond Dow still in a downtrend. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. T2122. Not a pretty day yesterday. All right, so market found itself in the oversold zone right here. Started out in the oversold zone. Okay, the bulls threw us out. We wound up in the sell zone, making higher lows and higher highs, and ended up in the seller's chop zone. All right, so liking to get bulls need to get going here. They need to push this up past the 50-yard line. Okay, so having a tough week, I guess. Last 2 weeks, right here. They did make all-time highs last week, so really not a tough week. But all in all, for SPY, but for T2122, not so much. So here it is. We wound up leaving. We're inside the sell zone. So we do have a trend here, and we can pop that in there. And you can see it's a possibility we wind up back again in the oversold zone if they bounce off this trend and come back down in here. Okay, so there's T2122. So they gapped down and kind of rallied up. All right, but not quite enough. On T2123, see this? Gap down and they rallied up. But here's the problem. They didn't even fill gap. Okay, so that's weakness on the bulls' part, failing to fill the gap. I mean, this is the end of a bull flag right here. Okay, and what they did bounce off of was the quad. Let's drag this over. The midpoint of the quad. So you can see here's price going up. And rather than pull back and stay in the upper quadrant or stay in the upper third, okay, they pulled all the way back to the midpoint. So they had a midpoint bounce yesterday. Okay, I'd rather they have a bounce that's not related to a midpoint bounce. I'd rather see them bounce because they're in the 30% area. That would be much better, but you get what you got, so, or you got what you get. So there it is on T2123. Still a whole lot of weakness in the market, and the dollar's bullish. So We do see a trend here starting, so it's a possibility. But we had one here, and that busted up, and we never had one. We had one maybe right here, okay, but that busted up as well. You can see right there we had one, and that didn't last long. And you can see again we had one right here. That didn't last long. Here didn't last long. That lasted 2 days right there. Not even 2 days, just 1 day. Okay, so here's 1 day again, a rally to the upside. So we need some follow through on whatever's going on down here. Fill the gap, challenge the 200. So you can see we're caught underneath this hooking 200 SMA. So that's T2123. So 3-bar charts is going to look like the same thing. Again, coming back to the 50-yard line and bouncing there. So see price bouncing back up towards the rising 200 SMA. Okay, so looking for a V bottom, and they kind of just melted into this. And looking for a V bottom. Not so sure we'll get the V bottom. Maybe it's a U bottom. So we'll see what happens. But again, 3 more red candles on the 3-bar chart. Still in a downtrend. All right, so that's T2123, still in a downtrend. FNGU. Okay, now FNGU turned out a little bit better yesterday. Okay, so we started out red, a little bit of green, a little rally over VWAP there. That's the burnt orange line. A little pullback to VWAP, and then a push in the afternoon into the close. We'll see if they can bust over these highs. They got to get over this 376.98 area, okay? It's been a struggle there for a while. So they got to get up on top of that. Good news is they're up over the 200 SMA. That's good news. We'll go back to the T2123 3-bar. You can see we were remaining up over the rising 200 right there on the T2123. Need to get back up on top of that. Like to see a bounce back up to these highs. So we'll see what happens with that. But FNGU, all right, I'd rather see this up on top of this resistance. That's going to look really good if they ever break through and hold up here for 3 days. That would be huge. All right, if they break through and hold the area above support, above resistance for 3 days, that would be nice. Now you can see they came up here and they held this for 3 days. So it's really like consolidation above prior consolidation. But we had this big down move, and then we recovered it. So price came down, and the bulls bought it right back up. All right, but they need to make some higher highs up here. Now they made a squeaky higher high right there. Okay, but ever since that high right there, they haven't done anything but consolidate underneath it. So we'll see what happens here today. So that's T21. That's FNGU. Sorry, it's not T2123. That's FNGU. All right, let's go back to the markets and let's look at some commodities. Okay, we're going to start off with energy. Take a look at USO. USO still in a downtrend because we have lower highs and lower lows. Trying to fight off that downtrend. If they ever break through this high right here, they'll be in an uptrend. Or if they make a higher low and another higher high, that will create an uptrend. As far as today goes, yesterday goes, got a higher low and a higher high closing over bullish cross, okay, over the 17 EMA. So USO still in a downtrend, but moving back up against it, trying to challenge it. So there's USO. Take UNG. All right, so here's UNG in an uptrend here, okay, making higher lows and higher highs. They made another higher low. Question is, can they make another higher high? Okay, yesterday's price action got a higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. So UNG in an uptrend, USO in a downtrend. Let's take a look at precious metals, silver and gold. Okay, silver and gold in downtrends. Why? Lower highs and lower lows. All right, for yesterday's price action, inside day, okay, that's a lower high and a higher low, closing underneath the bearish trap, underneath the 17 EMA. So there's silver in a downtrend. Gold, same deal. Another inside day, lower high, got a lower low in a downtrend, underneath, closing underneath the bearish trap, underneath 17 EMA there. I got to sneeze. Hold on. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it off to sneeze. Oh, okay. I canceled it. Good. All right. Now let's go take a look at the economic numbers, and then we'll look at a few sectors. Okay, so start off with some economic news. And yesterday was a very light day. Not much happened. Today we got FOMC meeting begins, so they're going to announce what they talked about tomorrow. The main event this week, CPI at 8:30 tomorrow morning, and then FOMC announcement at 2. So we got both happening on the same day, CPI and FOMC, both on the same day, and then they're going to have a little presser at 2:30. Okay, so as far as today goes, we got NFIB Small Business Optimism Index that starts at 6 a.m. this morning. Quarterly Services Survey at 10, and some note auctions, and that's it. All right, so that's it. Nothing happened today. Nothing happens. Nothing really big happens today. Nothing really big happened yesterday. The main event is CPI 8:30 on Wednesday, and then again FOMC at 2. So should be a volatile day. Thursday, jobless claims at 8:30, PPI final demand 8:30, and a natural gas report at 10:30. You can see there's nothing else that's big that's going to happen, other than CPI, which is coming out at 8:30. And I got to tell you, I don't think CPI is going to be too far out of line. All right, so it may ratchet up a little bit, but I think they're expecting that. Hopefully they can get a rate cut pretty soon. If they do get a rate cut and they announce a rate cut, let me just say the market could hit 550, and I'm talking about SPY. All right, if they just announce, hey, we're going to do a rate cut on the third quarter, all right, that would mean third quarter, that would be July, August, September. Okay, if they announce they're just going to do one, all right, that'll be huge. All right, they're projected for 3. All right, 6 months have already passed out of the year, just about. Okay, we're only almost through June here. We got about 20 more days. So 6 months. So they're projected for 3 rate cuts. All right, that's what they projected. And we've only got, pretty much 6 months left of the year. So when are these rate cuts coming? Are we going to get one in July? Put one. Let's say this one in December, one in October. I don't know. Maybe one in July. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. So if they just announce, hey, we're going to do a rate cut. We're thinking about a rate cut in July or August or something like that. That would be huge. So we'll see what happens. So CPI could really bounce the market. FOMC statement could bounce the market as long as CPI isn't too out of whack. All right, let's take a look at earnings calendar. Tonight, Oracle. All right, $346 billion. Okay, that's it. That's the only one. That's about the only one that's going to move the markets is Oracle. And you notice there's some familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. All right, other than Oracle. And that's tonight after the close. Okay, Wednesday, all right, after FOMC and CPI. All right, okay, it's 2/3 of $1 trillion, Broadcom. Okay, now that can move the markets as well. Okay, nothing like, some more familiar names right through here, but nothing that's really going to move the market like Broadcom. All right, so there's Wednesday. after the close. So we got, you can see after the close, we got Oracle after the close, and then we've got Broadcom after the close. Okay, that's it. And on Thursday, we got Adobe. Okay, again after the close, all three after the closing hours, $206 billion right there. And then we got Autodesk. They got to find their P&L. And that's it for Friday. Nothing really big happening. Got Coke Euro Pacific, not the same as Coke USA. Again, and then we got Lennar's, got about 83, 84 billion there. Okay, they're going to report after the close on Monday. So that's it for earnings calendar. So it should be smooth sailing if the bulls want to push it up. All right, but we're having a whole lot of problem out of the mid cap and small cap, which is the IWM, and of course our T2122, T2123, which is the New York Stock Exchange, okay, as a whole. Okay, the big thing is you can see the FNGU is really carrying the SPY. All right, if we go back to the SPY, first let's look at the dollar. I'm all over the place today. I don't know why. All right, so here's the dollar. Okay, you can see here's the dollar. Took out this high right here. All right, taking out that high does what? It's now in an uptrend. All right, we did not want that. That's a 200 SMA right there. Okay, so here's price in a downtrend, came down to the 200 SMA. You can see 200 SMA held it in there. Each candle, notice each candle is attached to the 200 SMA. All right, so we didn't get any clean candles below the 200 SMA. So there's a clue. Might get a bounce, and we got one. And we made a higher high right here. All right, so that puts us in an uptrend now. So we closed, we went up, challenged the high, and pulled back underneath this high area here. It would have been great if we rolled over and started heading back down towards the 200 SMA. But no. This morning, we're back up at the highs again. So not very good. So we closed, not very good for the bulls. So we closed 105.10 area. You can see right here, just underneath those peaks. Right there. Okay, so the question is, are we going to do it again? Are they going to pull back? Are we going to get a tweezer top? If we get a tweezer top, that would be nice. Then we could see this thing come back down towards 200. All right, so that's it for the economic numbers. Max Pain for today. All right, Max Pain is 534 and 1 3/4 puts for every call. Could see another put squeeze. We'll see what happens. Okay, so there's the earnings calendar. We did the economic numbers. We did the U.S. dollar index. Let's take a look at a few sectors. Okay, SMH. Okay, believe it or not, get this, SMH put in a new all-time high yesterday. Okay, SMH, new all-time high. Yeah, yesterday. Didn't hear much about that, did we? All right, so SMH, new all-time high. Right, AMD fell off the shelf, but SMH went out and put new all-time high in. Okay, so there's SMH, not AMD. There's SMH with a higher high and a lower low. So we got an outside day and putting in a new all-time high, closing over the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, SMH, semiconductors as a sector in an uptrend. All right, XLK. XLK did not put in new all-time highs, but they made a higher high and a higher low, closing over the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. So XLK in an uptrend. Okay, and this is where it gets worse. IYT. Okay, so IYT, transports, still in a downtrend. Okay. And got to break this downtrend line. We've got to do it this week. See the downtrend line? Maybe it's coming tomorrow with CPI. Here is a downtrend line. Got to break that downtrend line. So there's IYT transport still in a downtrend because we got lower highs and lower lows. All right, for yesterday's price action, you can see we got an outside day, which is a higher high and a lower low, closing below a bullish trap and below the 17 EMA. So not a good look for IYT. All right, so those are the transports. Now let's take a look at XLF. All right, here's the financials. Financials in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. So it's a pullback, making another higher low. All right, they're kind of struggling with that higher high though. So financials still in an uptrend. Yesterday's price action, lower high, lower low, closing underneath the bearish cross, underneath the 17 EMA. Okay, almost looking like it's ready to roll over here. So we need some good news from the financials to get this thing rocking and rolling again. So we got financials in an uptrend. We got semiconductors in an uptrend. Technology is in an uptrend. Okay, but the transports are not. Okay, so that's what we got. XLF financials still in an uptrend. Let's take a look at industrials. All right, industrials are, well, that's a head and shoulders if I ever seen one. Okay, industrials are still in an uptrend. Okay, industrials still in an uptrend here. It's hard to say with that lower high and lower low closing underneath this 17 EMA, and you got equal highs there. So industrials kind of in a downtrend, but yeah, still in an uptrend, just barely hanging on. Got a head and shoulders, got a neckline right here. They start breaking through that, not looking good. So industrials, if you look at the bigger picture, just consolidating in a bull flag wedge right up through there. All right, traders, that's it for today, this morning. Okay, marching orders. Green takes out red. All right, over the pivot. I'm a bull. All right, red takes out green under the pivot. All right, I'm a bear. So that's it for this morning. All right, I'll take questions in the room. If there's no questions, I'm going to render the video. Thank you all for